I have been seriously putting these two products to the test. They're Olaplex's latest launches. The first is No.5 Moisturise and Mend Leave-In Conditioner and No.10 Bond Shaper Curl Defining Gel. I've now tested these out in 5 different wavy hair routines, and I've also found ways to use them outside of my kind of normal wash routine, kind of like techniques or methods of using them. Anyway, that will become much clearer later on in the video, but for now I really want to share what I thought of these products, how well they worked in each routine, did they live up to all the claims that they make, and really how my wavy hair ended up looking and feeling, because that's always important to me. How does my hair feel? If we haven't met before, my name is Tori, I have wavy hair, and over 18 months ago it was in quite a state. It was dry and frizzy and very, very unmanageable. And in the last 18 months, I have managed to transform it. It is now much, much healthier. I don't follow any strict rules or routines these days, so no curly or wavy hair method anymore. I just really have been experimenting, trying different routines and products and finding out what works for me, and then sharing it with you so that hopefully you can get much better results much faster. Right, let's get into it. So first thing to say is I'm not going to give a step-by-step guide of each routine today. I'll show you how I actually use the products and then the results, because that's what you want to hear about. But if you do want to see how I create each look in more detail, then I'll link videos in the description box which will show you each of the routines. The first routine I ever used these two products in was brush styling and using my bounce curl brush. I did also film a first impressions video, which is why in the footage I'm chatting away to camera. And if you want to see the first impressions video, I will also link that in the description box. Starting on freshly washed hair, I apply the leave-in conditioner. I personally found that one pump was more than enough to do my, well, now kind of below shoulder length hair. One pump into my hands, emulsified the product, and then I glazed and raked it through my hair. To make sure I've got a really good even distribution, I then use my wet brush. Now, I was really good and read the directions on how to use the gel, and with Olaplex, they say to apply it in small sections. So I clipped back my hair and applied gel before then using the bounce curl brush. I never normally apply gel to my hair before I brush style. Reason being, I find that it causes my hair to get tangly and a bit on the rough side, and then I feel that it can cause pulling and snagging. So I was a little bit concerned to do this, but I also did want to use the product as directed. However, I was so pleasantly surprised to find that when I put the bounce curl brush through my hair, it really did just effortlessly glide, and it did not snag or pull or cause any issues whatsoever. So that was a really positive start for me. So I worked section by section, adding gel and then brush styling. I always use an oil as the final step in any wash day routine. So Olaplex No.7 bonding oil is my go-to at the moment, and I just scrunched out the crunch with the oil. And I have to say, I was super thrilled with these results. I had lovely definition. My hair did not feel at all producty. I did think it would because I was adding gel in small sections and I thought it's going to really feel quite crunchy, but it didn't at all. As soon as I broke that cast, my hair was very, very soft, but had some beautiful definition. Now, on this particular occasion, I did also have time to film my results for later that day and then also the following day. So let me show you first. Here we are later on in the day. I'd gone out, I'd run errands, so I'd washed and kind of done my routine first thing in the morning, and this is kind of towards, like, I think it was about 7-8 o'clock at night, and it held up so well. I'm not sure about you, but sometimes I find you do your wash day routine, your hair does look amazing for the first like half an hour, couple of hours, but by the end of the day, it's sometimes grown to twice the size or it's completely dropped, but that was not the case with the Olaplex products. I had lovely definition still, even having been out and about and kind of, you know, in the unpredictable British weather, my hair still felt and looked lovely. Then the following day, don't judge too quickly. I know what you're thinking. Oh, that doesn't look so great. But let me give you some context, because first up, I'd gone out first thing in the morning and it had been sunny, and then within 10 minutes of me leaving the house, suddenly the weather completely changed. There was a downpour, it got really windy, I didn't have an umbrella or anything, so I got caught out in the rain, came back home, grabbed a raincoat, so then I had a hat or raincoat, hood over my hair that had also already got a little bit damp and blown about. So actually, given what my poor hair went through, I don't think this looks too horrendous. Any other time, I feel like by now, I definitely would have looked like Hagrid. So I was particularly impressed, to be honest, with the results using it with the bounce curl brush. Next routine is, I'm going to call it air drying, or should I call it no styling? So basically, I air dried, but I also didn't style. So this is something I actually really love to do with my hair now, and that is something I never thought I would say. So with this particular routine, we're just talking about the leave-in conditioner. I did not use the gel in this routine. So again, on freshly washed hair, I applied the leave-in conditioner in exactly the same way, but then I smoothed it down by using my Tangle Teezer brush. The reason I like to do this is it adds a little bit of tension, and then if I just gently shake my hair and tuck the front behind my ears, it gives me a lovely natural face frame, and it just allows my natural wave pattern to emerge, but without any scrunching or pulsing or any curl clumping techniques. And then I literally just go about my day and don't do anything else to it. I do desperately try to remember not to touch it. I'm not brilliant at that, but I'm human, so, The reason I tuck it behind my ears is that gives you a lovely natural face frame. If you don't like the feeling of your hair tucked behind your ears, you can always grab a pair of sunglasses, or any glasses for that matter, put them on and then push them back onto the top of your head and then sort of pull them back forward a little bit, and it will create that lovely shape for you. If you've got a natural wave, you'll know exactly what I mean. It will just create that lovely bend and frame your features. And this was probably one of the best ever results from air drying, no styling that I've ever had. My hair felt so soft and so manageable. I really, really loved it. I quite often do this just to give myself a break from kind of curl clumping and styling. If I just can't be bothered, to be honest, if I just can't be dealing with the faff, if I don't want to diffuse, or if I plan to do heatless curls, because my hair will be smooth enough that actually the heatless curl will take really, really well to it. So quite often I'll do it in the morning, and then that night time I would do a heatless curls method. I didn't in this case. I think I was probably working the next day, but I was blown away by these results. My hair felt soft, it didn't get tangly, it had loads of shine. I absolutely loved it. So I was very, very impressed. Highly recommend using it for air drying / no styling. Okay, third routine, I'm calling this Denman waves. So this is one of my favourite routines to do when I want to create a much thicker, fuller look than my natural hair actually is. Does that make sense? So I have fine hair. I do have medium density, so I have a decent amount of it, but my hair is fine, so it's not on the thick side. However, with this routine, it gives the illusion of having more hair than I actually do. So once again, starting off with freshly washed hair and applying the leave-in conditioner first. And then I did something different to my normal routine, and that was I applied the gel first. Normally when I do Denman waves, I would apply the gel after I've created the curl clumps, but again, I wanted to make sure I was using it as Olaplex No.5 No.10, so I worked in sections and applied a little bit of gel first. And then you take your Denman and you kind of basically are using the handle almost like the effect of a curling tong. Once you've created all your curl clumps and they're completely dry, you then break the gel cast or scrunch out the crunch, and then I take a Tangle Teezer paddle brush and brush very gently through my hair. That's what creates the lovely illusion of much thicker hair, because it kind of utilises the floofiness, fluffiness, frizz, whatever you want to call it, to your advantage. However, With these two products, this was the most disappointing result from Denman Waves routine I have ever had. I want it to get fluffy and I want it to look thick, but I still want to have some definition. So let me show you a photo of when I've had really lovely success with this. And then you can see a side by side with how this routine went. What I will say is my hair felt very nice. It's just that I didn't have any definition left, which normally I still do, particularly around my face. So I don't know if it's because I think perhaps the gel doesn't give the strongest hold, or perhaps it's because I just don't normally use the gel until afterwards. I can't tell you, to be honest, because I haven't done the Denman Waves routine again using those two products, because once something's failed and you have a routine that works, why would you go back to the failure? So this was definitely one I won't do again with the Olaplex gel, but my hair did feel lovely. Next up, really nice and simple routine, scrunch and pulse. Once again, I feel like a broken record, but freshly washed hair, used the leave-in conditioner first, made sure I had really, really good distribution. And then I sectioned my hair kind of into top and bottom and then sort of side to side. So working the underneath part first, I added the curl defining gel. And what I like to do when I'm scrunching and pulsing is these days I actually sort of gently lift my hair first to encourage the wave pattern to start forming. And then once that's happened, I will scrunch and pulse just 1 or 2 times. Once I'd done that all over, I then actually did a little bit of micro plopping to add some extra definition, diffused dry, and as always, scrunched out the crunch with an oil. I absolutely loved these results. By the way, sorry, I'm in a different top because I managed to get makeup on my blue jumper. Anyway, yeah, defined, easy to do. It dried quite quickly as well when I was diffusing. It just held up beautifully. So this was very first thing in the morning that I'd done the wash routine, very early, like 7 o'clock or something. And then let me show you at the end of the day how my hair had held up. Beautiful definition and so little frizz. For me, the frizz control of this gel is fantastic. And again, another thing that I really particularly like is, one, you're just using 2 products, and it just goes to show that you don't have to layer curl creams and gels and mousses and foams, and you don't need it. If you want to, like, go for it, but you don't actually need all of these things to create beautiful waves and curls. And also because of that, I didn't get any producty residue within my hair. Now, I appreciate that some people don't care whether they've got that or not, but for me, I want my hair to feel super soft when I touch it, and it's why I don't like texture sprays and generally hairsprays. Even dry shampoo, I'm not a fan because I want my hair to feel soft. But that's just a personal thing, but it's worth mentioning. If you don't like product, I do think you will really like this gel. On to the 5th and final routine, and it is my personal favourite. I call it the side dunk method. And it's my alternative to the bowl method. I don't like the bowl method. 2 reasons. First, I love a centre parting, and I feel like you cannot retain a centre parting and use the bowl method. And 2, generally, I just don't like upside down styling, and neither does my hair. It gets tangly, and yeah, it's never turned out well. I've kind of adapted the bowl method, and I do it one side at a time, and I usually do that within my bathroom using my basin. However, this is how my bathroom currently looks. So this occasion I had to do it on freshly washed hair that I'd washed over the bath, which is why it looks so rough and tangly, because I had to wash it upside down. It just doesn't love that. So to do this method, again, I applied the leave-in conditioner to freshly washed hair, upside down freshly washed hair, and it was more tangly than normal, but I knew it was going to be okay once I could get my hair back into the water. So I glazed it over and I used my fingertips to kind of try and rake it through a little bit, but it was much more more tangly than normal. Now, just a side note as to why I think this is my favourite method for my hair. Like I said, I don't like my hair to feel producty, and my hair is generally on the drier side, so anything that can help improve the softness of my hair is always going to be a massive benefit to me. And I've been doing some research for a future video about wavy hair, but just generally hair care myths, and I came across the most amazing Instagram page, which I will share here, and find their Instagram handle. And it's this amazing lady who's a scientist and was giving the science behind why it's a myth that that cool water does not seal your cuticles. So that is a myth, and it will not make apparently any difference if you use warm, hot or cool water. What happens to your hair in water is it swells, and therefore when it's swollen, the cuticle lifts up. So what I think is happening with the side dunk or the bowl method is that because you've applied the product to your hair and then you've put your hair into water, it's swelled up, the cuticle is lifted, and so I imagine, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, this is just from what I've learned, that then all those hydrating, moisturising ingredients that are sort of mixing in the water are then really easily able to penetrate the hair. So that's why I think I love this method so much, because it always gives me lovely, soft, shiny waves. That sort of now makes so much sense to me. Anyway, it's just a side note. Let's get back to the actual hows. So leave-in conditioner first, dunk one side in, and then create the curl clumps, and then follow exactly the same method for the other side. I then applied the gel, so I didn't work section by section. I did really just kind of rub it between my hands and then glaze over my hair, and then again sort of scrunch and gently pulse my hair so that I could achieve some hold. Dried with my diffuser until probably, I'm not very patient, so it's usually 80 to 90% dry by the time I break the cast. Obviously, if I was a more patient person, I would get less frizz. I totally know that. I'm just not a patient person. Scrunched out the crunch once again with the Olaplex oil and was blown away. My hair, it's so soft and shiny. Again, I really do feel like a broken record, but other than the Denman waves, I was super impressed with both of these products for my tends to be frizzy, on the drier side, colour treated, fine, medium density, wavy hair. God, that's a mouthful. I really, really was. So overall, I absolutely was impressed with both of these products and how they performed. Let me now share the two other ways that I've been using them. First up, the leave-in conditioner. You can use this on dry hair, which is very, very handy for somebody like me, because I think you can see it quite clearly these days. About there is the last remaining more damaged hair. So obviously right at the ends, that's always where you're going to have more damage. And you can see, you know, I've got thicker, fuller, juicier curl clumps, and then it almost like thins out and gets a little bit stringy. Yeah, I could get it chopped off, but I'm not going to, because it doesn't really need to, and I'm trying to grow my hair. However, I have found that on day 2, applying some of the leave-in conditioner to the ends makes them feel so much softer, and it makes them look much nicer when I'm doing updos. So if I'm doing a messy bun or even just a ponytail, it really helps give a lovely finish to the tips of my hair. I've also used it as a kind of method to protect my hair. So one of the things I'm actually reverting back to is protecting my hair at night by wrapping it in a satin scarf rather than the ponytail scrunchy method. I'll kind of probably talk about that in another video, but if you specifically want to know why, drop me a comment and we can have a chat. But I've actually sort of lightly been glazing this mid-lengths and ends because it doesn't add any sort of oily residue, it doesn't make my hair sticky. My hair just seems to absorb it, but I feel like it's adding some protection. Now, with the Olaplex No.10, the curl defining gel, the way that I've been using this is to protect my hair before I play sport. So again, one of the problems I feel like I've been having is I do play a lot of tennis, and I've been finding that I've been pushing my hair back a lot. I've kind of been a bit rough with it maybe, and I was definitely getting some breakage around here and some kind of lots and lots of sort of short hair, so I felt like maybe I'd pulled out hair prematurely. So now what I've been doing is lightly dampening down, not saturating or soaking my hair because I don't want it to be wet because hair is more fragile when it's wet, but just a very light kind of spray from my continuous water bottle, and then applying the gel over the top. And because this one is in no means producty, I can get away with doing that and I won't have a very crunchy hair texture like later on or the next day. So that's really, it's got a really flexible hold that I think perhaps disappears if you take a brush through it, and that's why the Denman Waves didn't work so well. But it's worked brilliantly for protecting my hair before sport. What do I think? Overall, I think both products work very, very well. I will absolutely repurchase this one when I'm through. I already know that it's going to become a staple part of my hair care routine because I do genuinely feel that it is helping the condition of my hair. I have lots and lots of healthy hair habits. I use bond repairs, I use Olaplex No.5 No.10, so it's very difficult to say that it's mending my hair. I just couldn't make that claim to you, but I can say that my hair feels soft and manageable and really, really lovely every single time I use this, including when I use it on dry hair. For the curl defining gel, this one's tricky because I really like the fact that it gives me some hold, but I don't feel any product residue. However, I do feel that you can get probably just as good results from a gel that just doesn't cost quite so much money. So I'm definitely going to carry on using it. It is the one that I reach for every time at the moment. However, once it's done, I have enough gels at the moment that I wouldn't rush back and buy it, and only really because of the price point. I also think that if you're someone who likes a strong hold gel, this is not for you. I haven't found it to have a super strong hold, but if you do want something that's going to kind of disappear from your hair and not feel super crunchy, then you will really, really like this. One thing I have just realised that I completely forgot to mention throughout any of the routines, and is definitely worth mentioning, is that both products are heat protectants. So that is really important for me because I want to use as few products as possible these days. So something that has multi-purposes is really, really good. But yeah, overall, I do feel like there are more budget-friendly gels out there that are going to do a very similar job. And if you love hair care that is budget-friendly, then you may want to check out this video next because it's my favourites from the high street and from drugstores. Thank you as always for watching. I really seriously do appreciate all the likes, shares, comments and support. It means the world, and I've had some fantastic conversations in the comments recently, so thank you so much for taking the time to drop a comment in the description box. It really means a lot. Have a lovely day, take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.